All right, welcome to today's workout. Today's workout is going to consist of 3 rounds highlighted in red. And the first 2 rounds have 3 exercises each. For round 1, we have the hip extension, hip manipulation, and push-ups. And note that right before we start round 1, we want to do the elliptical machine for 10 minutes. We want to increase the heart rate significantly and get the blood flowing, the oxygenated blood. We have to start raising our frequency of breathing because we're going to start targeting fat at a very early stage in the workout, all right? So we'll do the 3 exercises in round 1, the hip extension, the hip manipulation, and the push-ups. And then we'll move to round 2, do the elliptical machine for 5 minutes at the beginning of round 2, and then perform our exercises one after the other. Back to back to back, the lunge pose leg extension, the iso rubber legs, and the diagonal twist up, and we do each of those 3 times. And then moving to round 3, we'll do the elliptical machine for 5 more minutes and finish off with split squats and toe touches. I'm going to demonstrate each and then provide commentary for each exercise. So go ahead and pause the video and do your elliptical routine for 10 minutes and get ready for round 1. Alright, so we are finished with the elliptical machine for 10 minutes. The heart rate's increased, we're sweating, we're ready to go. I'm going to get started with the hip extension with the loop band. So I'm going to go ahead and anchor the loop band around my legs. I generally like to keep them below the knee. I want my back to be straight, and I want to assume this position on all 4s. And I'm just extending the left leg. So we're targeting the glutes, we're targeting the hamstrings, we're incorporating resistance training. So as we're training these muscles, the cross-sectional area or the size of the muscle will increase slightly. We're not here to get jacked and ripped and all that stuff necessarily, but when we increase the size of the muscle while targeting fat, we are reducing the fat in between the muscle and the skin and increasing the health of that muscle. So we are toning, and that's the concept. All right, we're going to be targeting fat while targeting the muscles as well. So that's what we're doing with resistance training. All right, so we're targeting the glutes, we're going to be targeting the area around the hips, and we're going to be increasing the cross-sectional size of those muscles while reducing the fat in that area. Alright, so we're breathing out as we push, breathing out, breathing back into reset, and then breathing out. Extending the leg out and up. Alright, so we get rid of the loop band and move straight into the next exercise. Alright, so the hip manipulation, this is what I like to call my bread and butter, alright? This is going to be one of the foundations for our balance and core strength. Notice where I'm touching with both hands on the opposite side of the leg movement. That's the actual area where I'm focused on. We're working on those smaller muscles, specifically where I'm pointing now, the piriformis. That is where our sciatic is, and these areas where the nerve bundles are especially, we want to activate those motor neurons, all right? All of those smaller muscles that are responsible for our balance and our core strength, we're activating. It's not just about the muscles that are being worked with the moving leg, all right? It's a stationary leg that's actually being worked. All right, so we go to the leg extension, right? We were doing the hip abduction before, now we're doing the hip extension. And notice I kind of hop a little bit. What I like to do is to challenge myself is anytime I lose my balance, I start over with my counting, and then I go from there. So it's about focusing on the counts as we switch to the right leg, and we did the leg extension here. So we're flexing the hip and then extending the hip. And again, it's all about changing where your balance, like where your body weight is, your center of gravity. Your body has to adjust. All right, now moving forward, we're going to do 3 sets of push-ups. I recommend doing 3 sets of 10 if we're able to. And we want to keep track of how many push-ups we do. This is not a popular exercise, but this is a great indicator as to where we are at strength-wise and fitness wise. All right, we want to be fit. We need to be fit in order to accomplish the goals that which we set out to achieve. So when we set out to achieve these goals of toning up and getting buns back and getting abs and these things, our metabolism has to be good. And push-ups are a great way of determining our metabolic health. All right, our muscles are our metabolism. They are what's alive, that and your bones. All right. All right, so I'm doing the modified version here. I've got my knees anchored, and we finish off that way. All right, now we pause the video, do our elliptical exercise for 5 minutes, and then get ready for round 2. Now, what I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate is to set up for round 2. We're going to be doing 3 exercises: the lunge pose leg extension, the iso rubber legs, and the diagonal up twist. So the diagonal up twist is anchored, and so I've got to anchor my resistance band to the object that I'm using prior to round number 2. Okay, so I'm just gonna wrap the resistance band like so. We're only going to be using one end of it. You can use both ends depending on your skill level. If you're extremely strong, then you might want to shorten the band up and use both ends of it. But I'm going to use one end here, and I'm just getting it ready. All right, now starting with exercise number 4, it's a lunge pose leg extension. Now, I'm just posing in a lunge. Now, that's a deep lunge, and we can go a more shallow like so. Notice I'm not going all the way down, so that's a shallow lunge pose. And I want my weight to be resting. Notice that's a quadricep. We're going to be targeting the quadricep and the hip extension in the back, which are your glutes, your bottom. All right. Now, notice I want my weight. I want the body weight to be primarily on my heel with that lead leg, all right? And then I transfer the weight up to the ball of my feet, because as I go up, I'm actually extending the ball of my foot, all right? I'm doing a plantar flexion of my calf muscle, all right? So we're working the calves, the glutes, the hamstrings, the leg extender, which is the quadriceps. This is a great lower body workout, great core, great balance workout. Notice I'm not jumping all the way in the air. We can go higher in the air depending on how intense we want the exercise. If you're fully healthy, if you're not experiencing joint pain, then by all means, you can control yourself, go straight into the air and come back down. That's to test your agility. That's to test your strength and your endurance. All right, now moving into this next exercise, we're going to use the loop band, anchor it like so beneath the knees, and we are going to pose in a squat position while moving the legs in a rubber band type of fashion, just like so. I don't think there's any other way to describe it. I could do scientific technical terms for this one, but I don't really feel like it. So we're just going to keep it with the rubber leg movement, right? All right. Now we did our prescribed set number of repetitions, right? That's going to feel the burn. You're going to be feeling the burn right now. So this is going to be an opportunity to kind of rest those muscles that are fatigued. All right, you just fatigue those muscles. So moving straight into the next exercise. All right, now notice the distance. I want to make sure that at the starting point I've got the band near my pocket, right, just above the pocket, and I'm going to twist in a diagonal upward manner and extend the arms. But notice I'm extending that left leg out, all right? As if I'm thrusting something up into the air, like a medicine ball or something, but we've got a resistance band. The more resistance bands you add to it, the more difficult, the more intense this exercise is. All right, extending that leg, breathing out, breathing out. We're breathing out as we push, right? So we're pushing and twisting. We're working the abdominal area. We're working those hip flexors. We're working the hip extenders minorly. All these things are being engaged. That's going to improve your range of motion over time because we're activating muscles that we're not used to activating. and those muscles start firing again, and we become more efficient with our movements. We're not out of breath as much. Our heart rate decreases. Our blood pressure decreases over time. Basic things that exercise does. And then, of course, because we're working these muscles as I switched positions, I have my back to you just for instructional purposes. Now it's the right leg that's fully extending. So we're extending that leg, twisting directly up and diagonally. And this is where we get ready for round 3. So we'll pause it and do our elliptical. So we've done our elliptical for 5 minutes. We're sweating. We're almost there. We have 2 exercises left. We've done 2 rounds. This is round number 3. This is where we want to focus. This is going to be about focusing on the number of repetitions we do and then doing the exercise correctly. So here we've got our split squats, and we want to keep that weight on the heel of that lead leg, and we're extending the leg nearly 90%. We're keeping tension on those muscles that I just pointed, all right? There's constant tension, and we're focused on time under tension. The time under tension is the amount of time spent with that muscle being engaged, and the more time we spend with that, the more effective we are, right? So now we can switch. Now, I like to choose a surface behind me that is approximately knee height. And here we go. So we're engaging those muscles, the quadriceps, the hamstrings engaging as we lift our bodies. As we raise up, we're breathing out. We are breathing out, breathing back into reset, and then breathing out when we push back up. Finishing the last couple of repetitions. All right, and then we move straight from the split squat to the toe touches and the side crunch. Now, I'm not going to straighten my legs all the way out, and furthermore, I'm going to make sure that the small of my back stays straight. And I'm going to demonstrate how you can kind of bail out on this movement without putting undue pressure on your back. Notice my legs are relatively straight, but I like to bend them, and this is an alternative route that we can go to where we don't have to put any undue pressure on our back. We can keep our knees right above our hips if we want to. Notice how I'm way out there, but here I'm not. So we can kind of find like a medium, all right, so that we're still, extending and flexing the hip. Now here we go of what I was talking about. If we get to the point where we're putting too much pressure on the lower back, notice I keep the small of my back pointed towards the ground or my belly button. I'm keeping my abdominal area engaged. And in any event that there's undue pressure, I just let my legs fall to the ground. And then I switch over to the side crunch. So we're doing 10 toe touches and 10 side crunches of each side. So I'll do 10 on this side, and I like to always feel those muscles to ensure they're being engaged, because they get tired and you'll start using other muscles to compensate, and we don't want to do that because we're targeting certain muscle groups, specifically the abdominal area, the obliques in this case. I like to lift both legs off the ground, as you'll see at the beginning of this set here. So I start with my legs off the ground. This is the advanced way of doing it. You have to kind of maintain your balance, and it's a nice and easy side crunch, or you can do it like so. Again, it's about engaging these muscles that we're not used to engaging. When we engage them, they want to be included now, and they're going to start getting stronger, and that's what we want to do. Excellent workout. Great job for the day.